Hi, this is 5 Minute Theology. I'm Ryan Gupta, and today we will be studying this question: why were some people raised from the dead at the resurrection of Jesus? Now, in the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 50 to 53, it reads, "And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice, and yielded up his spirit. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened, and many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many." So after Jesus was resurrected, some saints were also brought back to life. The question is, why? What is the meaning of this? And here's the answer. This happened to fulfill a prophecy that Jesus made. Well, when was this prophecy given by Jesus? Let's look at Luke chapter 19. And here we see that Jesus is riding into Jerusalem on a donkey, and the crowds are cheering and shouting and praising God. Now the Pharisees, they turned to him and they said, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." Now Jesus responded by saying, if these were silent, the very stones would cry out. So the Pharisees told Jesus to make his disciples stay silent, command them to be silent. And Jesus said, even if the disciples were silent, these stones would cry out. Well, what stones is he talking about? Now, Jesus is riding down the Mount of Olives on a donkey, and on the slopes of this mount, on one side there is a burial site, and Jesus can clearly see this burial ground, and he could see the tombs, and on these tombs were small rocks on them. You see, the Jewish people had developed a custom of placing rocks on the graves of their loved ones who had passed away. Today we put flowers on tombs, so when you go to a Jewish burial ground, many times you won't see flowers, you would see stones on the tombs. Why did they put stones? Well, you see, a stone symbolizes permanence. A stone will not die. A flower will die, but a stone says that the memory of that lost person is permanent in the minds of their loved ones. So the stone shows that a person's memory lives on, not like a flower that will eventually die. Also in the Old Testament, at times when people made a covenant with each other, they would often set up stones as a memorial and witness to that covenant. So Jesus knew that in that period of his death, burial, and resurrection, the disciples would indeed become silent and fearful, just like the Pharisees wanted. They were fearful and they were silent and they were not witnessing. So he prophesied that those dead stones, the saints in the graves, would become living stones and be witnesses of his death and resurrection in Jerusalem. And this is exactly what happened. So, like in the Old Testament, when people made a covenant, they would set up stones. When Jesus brought us into the new covenant, he used living stones to be witnesses and a testimony of the new covenant. And today, this is why we are called as believers living stones. So again, this is a prophecy that Jesus made, that if people became silent, if they would not testify, if they would not witness, then he would cause those stones to come alive and be witnesses of the new covenant and be witnesses of his death, burial, and resurrection. And this is why Jesus gave this prophecy, and this is why people were resurrected when he was resurrected. Thank you for listening. God bless.